Yes, folks, Australia's One Nation Party is presently being attacked by the left, just 1 week after New Zealand introduced new gun laws following the Christchurch mosque attacks. And this is no coincidence, folks. Have a look at this.
One Nation has been caught trying to trade Australia's tough gun laws for cash from America's most powerful gun lobby, the NRA.
No, that's not true. They tried to acquire money from the Koch brothers, and I'll show you this later on in the video.
But Pauline Hanson's henchmen, who were filmed in an undercover sting, say they've been taken out of context, and some of their comments came after a long drinking session. Now this is the first giveaway, folks. This is Al Jazeera, owned by Qatar, one of the most repressive Islamic nations in the Middle East. And the cherry-picked quotes coming from Al Jazeera about the One Nation folk coming pretty much exactly a week after the terror attacks in Christchurch. So this is no coincidence, folks.
Sting, 3 years in the making, and the target was One Nation.
Dirty Harry, so you know what? Don't mess with me.
Television network Al Jazeera followed a gun lobbyist.
Roger Muller is the public face of Gun Rights Australia.
As he made deep contacts with America's powerful National Rifle Association.
Roger Muller, GRA. Day one here in Louisville at the NRA conference.
But he was not what he seemed.
We created Gun Rights Australia as a front in order to infiltrate the pro-gun lobby and understand how they operate.
The fake activist then led One Nation Chief of Staff James Ashby and Queensland Senate candidate Steve Dixon on a trip to America to seek donations from the US gun lobby.
If they threw $10 million, I went ahead and seats, seats in the Senate.
Their pitch to the Americans was a promise to use that power to change Australia's tough gun laws.
We're not even allowed to own guns in Australia for self-protection for women.
It was all filmed by the fake lobbyists and all happened in the lead-up to Parliament banning foreign donations.
So I believe foreign donations should be stopped.
That's utterly at odds with her key lieutenant's mission to America, as they imagined what foreign gun lobby millions could buy them.
If you were 20, you would own the Lower House and Upper House.
The reaction was swift and furious.
We have wonderfully strong gun laws. They have saved Australian lives. They are an example around the world. And for heaven's sake, don't sell them out.
How dare they seek to trade those for money and votes from a foreign buyer?
That's wonderful coming from Morrison, who's just taken money from China and given them the port of Darwin. Anyway, right now we'll go and have a look at the other side of the story where Andrew Bolt interviews the guys from One Nation.
It'll effing rock the boat. This shit goes through my head every single minute of my day. You knew then that what you were doing was wrong. What was it that you thought was wrong?
Andrew, look, I haven't seen the full context of this video. It's quite clear that I said that, but there is no context to this discussion that's been had while we're sitting there having multiple drinks with a bloke that we've just flown over to the United States and got on the drink with. So, look, I have been very upfront and I've asked for Al Jazeera to release for true transparency the entire conversation of that night. It will show.
Yeah, and Al Jazeera has to do that, otherwise this is just a joke.
We are not selling Australia down the drain. We want to maintain democracy in this country, and there is no way that we were out to change gun laws in this country. At no point was that ever on the table.
So nothing you did was wrong?
Look, Andrew, we took this bloke on face value. And he presented himself for a number of
forget
months
about the bloke.
to deal
Forget
with
about
the
the
party.
bloke. I know, he conned you. He conned you. What I'm asking you is, did you do anything wrong?
Look, no, I don't believe so. We acted appropriately, and at that stage, when there was consideration of a potential donor from the United States, and let me just make this very clear, Andrew, it was not the NRA we were seeking funds from. He had alluded to other larger donors, including Koch Industries.
So there you go, folks. It was never the NRA. They're only trying to get money from the Koch brothers.
Not the NRA we were seeking to get finances from. So that is another lie from Al Jazeera, and I want them to be upfront with the people of this country, present the full video and the full context.
Steve Dixon, you were there, you were the one actually filmed there, specifically asking the Koch brothers for money. Should you have been, and you were an elected minister once, you want to be a politician again, should you have been asking foreigners and a foreign lobby group for money to influence an Australian election?
Andrew, I think what we've got to do, and people of Australia, and we've just done a media scrum today to put this into context, the gentleman we met, he actually was placed over here by a Middle Eastern country, Al Jazeera, as a spy in our country. We met this fellow and he introduced us to a number of people when we went to the United States. Was a number mentioned of $10 million? And yes, it was. And I don't think we were any different to any other political party in this country, and I refer to both the Labor Party and the Conservatives, who have taken money from the Chinese government, given away the port of Darwin.
Yes, exactly the point, isn't it? It's not okay for these guys to take money from America, but it's okay for Morrison to take money from China. Anyway, we'll go now and have a listen to what our own Judith Collins has to say.
I know this almost sounds cliche, but it's true. And in just a week, things are moving really fast in the beehive. Decisions have been made on the future of this country. The government has announced a ban on these military-style semi-automatic weapons and assault rifles. Joining us now is our political panel, National MP Judith Collins. G'day, Judith. Good morning.
Good morning, Duncan.
And Labor Party Minister Chris Farfoy. G'day, Chris. G'day.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, so more sombre times. Judith, your position on the government's changes?
Oh, they're absolutely right. In fact, I think they could go further.
Could go further.
And I think one of the issues that needs to be dealt with is the gun register. So police at the moment, if there's, they have no idea how many guns someone has, and the closest thing that they have is an indication that someone has guns is whether or not they've got a gun licence. Lots of people have gun licences and have never used them. So I actually think it has been fraught to this area, and I think I'm probably one of the very few people who was able as Minister of Police to get 2 changes through.
Why is it so hard?
It's so hard because it becomes very easily politicised, and the what I would call more extreme end of the gun lobby group just inundate MPs.
Yeah, so what do you think people are afraid of, Judith? Why do you think they are so concerned about you taking away their guns? They are afraid, Judith, of tyranny, the creeping tyranny in this country. They don't want to become, the people of New Zealand do not want to become Venezuela, where people have no way of defending themselves against tyranny. Yes, folks, it's clear that Judith Collins is no better than the Greens and Labor. The National Party is no better at all. And as far as I'm concerned, Judith Collins is a no-no as a potential Prime Minister of this nation.